Hi, thanks for joining me again as we continue with this delightful fairy tale by KINDLE from the Faraway Tree collection. It's the Enchanted Wood, and we're up to chapter 18. If you have missed any of the other videos, the first 17 chapters, you can find them all on this channel. So let's make ourselves comfortable and let's continue. Chapter 18. The land of take what you want. The next day was very fine. The children helped their mother to clean the whole house down, and Joe proudly brought in some fine peas and lettuces from the garden, which he had grown himself. Mother was pleased. "You can go off after lunch by yourselves if you like," she said. "You have been very good today." The children looked at one another in glee. Just what they had hoped. Oh, good. "Come on," said Joe after lunch. "We won't waste any time." "What about tea?" said Bessie. "Want we to take some with us?" "I should think we can get all the tea right from the land of take what you want," said Joe with a grin. So they all ran off, waving goodbye to Mother. They were soon in the Enchanted Wood, hearing the trees whispering secretly to one another. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. They ran through the bushes and trees to the faraway tree, and up they went. When they passed the window of the angry pixie, Joe peeped in, just for fun. But he was sorry he did, for the angry pixie was there, and he threw a basin of soup all over poor Joe. "Oh," said Joe in dismay, as he saw his shirt was all splashed with soup. "Oh, you wicked pixie!" The angry pixie went off into the peals of delight of laughter and banged his window shut. "Pooh, you do smell of onions now, Joe," said Bessie, wrinkling up her nose. "I hope the smell soon goes off." Joe wiped himself down with his handkerchief. He said to himself that one day he would pay the angry pixie out. "Come on," said Fanny impatiently. "We'll never get there." They passed the barn owl's door and saw him sitting inside fast asleep. They came to Silky's little yellow door too, but she wasn't in. There was a note pinned on her door which said, "Out. Back soon." "She must be with Moonface," said Joe. "Now just look out for Dame Washalot's water, everyone." It was a good thing he reminded them, for not long after that a final waterfall of soapy suds came pouring down. Fanny screamed and dodged, so did Bessie. Joe got some on his shirt, and he was cross. "Oh, never mind," said Fanny with a giggle. "It will wash off some of the onion soup, Joe." They went on up and came to Mr. What's-his-name's. He was, as usual, sitting in a deck chair fast asleep with his mouth open, and beside him, also fast asleep, was the old saucepan man, looking most uncomfortable, draped around as usual with saucepans and kettles. "Don't wake them," whispered Joe. "We'd better not stop and talk." So they crept by them, But just as they had got to the next branch, the saucepan man woke up. He sniffed hard and poked Mr. What's-his-name. "What's the matter? What's the matter?" said his friend. "Can you smell onions?" asked the saucepan man. "I distinctly can smell them. Do you suppose the faraway tree is growing onions anywhere near us today? I do love onion soup." Joe and the girls laughed until they cried. "It's the onion soup on your shirt that the saucepan man smelt," said Bessie. "My goodness, they'll spend all the afternoon looking for onions growing on the faraway tree." They left the two funny old men and went climbing up, and they got nicely caught by Dame Washlot's second lot of water. She was doing a great deal of washing that day, and she emptied a big wash tub down just as the three children were nearly underneath. Slish, slosh, slish, slosh, slish. The water came pouring down and soaked all the children. They gasped and shook themselves like dogs. "Quick," said Joe. "We will go as fast as we can to Moonface's house and borrow some towels from him. This is just dreadful." They arrived at Moonface's at last. Old Moonface and Silky rushed out to hug them, but when they saw how dripping wet the children were, they stopped in surprise. "Is it raining?" said Moonface. "Have you had a bath in your clothes?" asked Silky. "No, it's just Dame Washalot's water as usual," said Joe crossly. "We dodged the first lot, but we got well caught by the second lot. Can you lend us some towels, please?" Moonface grinned and pulled some towels out of his curved cupboard. As the children rubbed themselves down, Moonface told them all about the land of Take What You Want. "It's a marvellous land," he said. "You're allowed to wander all over it and take whatever you want for yourselves without paying a penny. Everyone goes there if they can. Do come and visit with me and Silky." Is it quite safe?" asked Joe, rubbing his hair dry. "Oh, yes," said Silky. "The only one thing is we must be careful not to stay there too long, in case it leaves the faraway tree and we can't get down. But Moonface says he will sit by the ladder and give a loud whistle if he sees any sign of the land moving away." "Good," said Joe. "Well, there are plenty of things that we want, so let's go now, shall we?" They all climbed up to the topmost branch to the great white cloud. The ladder led through the hole as usual to the land above, and one by one they climbed it and stood in the strange country above the magic cloud. It was indeed strange. It was simply crowded with things and people. It was quite difficult to move about. Animals of all kinds wandered here and there. Sacks of all sorts of things, from gold to potatoes, stood about. Stalls of the most wonderful vegetables and fruit were everywhere, and even such things as chairs and tables were to be found waiting for anyone just to take them. "Good gracious," said Joe, "can we really take anything we want?" "Anything," said Moonface, settling himself down by the ladder in the cloud. "Look at those gnomes over there. They mean to take all of the gold that they can find." The children looked where Moonface was pointing, and sure enough there were 4 gnomes hauling at all the sacks of gold in sight. One by one they staggered off to the ladder with them and disappeared down a faraway tree. Other fairy folk hunted for the different things they wanted: dresses, coats, shoes, singing birds, pictures, and all kinds of things. soon as they had found what they were looking for, they rushed to the ladder in glee and slipped down it. Moonface found it fun to watch them. The others wandered off, looking at everything in surprise. "Do you want a nice fat lion, Joe?" asked Silky, as a large lion wandered by and licked Silky's hand. "Oh, no, thank you," said Joe at once. "Oh, what about a giraffe?" said Silky. "I believe they make fine pets." "Well, you believe wrong, then," said Bessie. "It's a tall giraffe galloped past like a rocking horse. Nobody in their senses would want to keep a giraffe for a pet. Goodness me!" "Oh, look!" cried Fanny, as she came to a shop in which stood a great many large and beautiful clocks. "Do let's take a clock back home." "No, thank you," said Joe. "You know what we want. We'll have to take that and nothing else." "I think I should like a clock," said Silky, and she picked up a small clock with a very nice smiley face. It had 2 feet underneath, which waggled hard as Silky picked up the clock. "It wants to walk," said Bessie, with a scream of laughter. "Oh, do let it, Silky. I've never seen a clock walk before." Silky put down the clock, and it trotted beside them on its big flat feet. The children thought it was the funniest thing that they had ever seen. Silky was very pleased with her new clock. "Just what I've always wanted," she said. "I shall keep it at the back of my room." "You don't suppose it will stay there, do you, Silky?" asked Bessie. "It will just wander round and about and poke its nose into everything you're doing, and if it doesn't like it, well, it will run away." "Ding dong, ding dong," said the clock suddenly in a clear voice, making them all jump. It stopped walking when it chimed, but it ran after the children and Silky again at once. It was really a most extraordinary clock. "Now, we really must look for what we want," said Joe. "Are those the hens over there, Bessie?" "Oh, yes, they are," said Bessie. "Good. Come along and we'll get them. Oh, this is really a lovely land. I am glad we came. What fun it will be getting everything that we want. I do wonder what Mother will say when we get home." There you have it. End of chapter 18. We'll soon be starting chapter 19, which is entitled Moonface Gets Into a Fix. So that leaves me simply to say thank you very much for joining me, and as I say, if you've missed any of the other chapters, you can find them on this channel. And if you have enjoyed this, please do like it below, and make sure that you don't miss out on any of the next chapters. Please do subscribe to my channel. Thanks very much for joining me. Let's just roll that page over there, so let me know where we're at. And I'll see you